Okay, so pray 2 rak'ahs at home before you leave. Salatul Istikhara. If you look at the end of the dua, you actually make dua that Allah makes it easy for you if it's good for you. So inshallah it will become easy for you because Hajj is good for you, inshallah. And obviously read the dua for travel, which is Subhanalladhi sakhara lana hadha wa ma kunna lahu muqrinin wa inna ila rabbina lamunqalibun. Allahumma inna nas'aluka fi safarina hadha al-birra wat-taqwa wa min al-amali ma tarda. Allahumma hawwin alayna safarana hadha watwi 'anna ba'dah. Allahumma anta as-sahibu fi as-safar wal khalifatu fi al-ahl. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min wa'tha'i as-safar wa ka'abati al-manzar. So this hadith, this dua you can recite when you start traveling, and obviously in Hisnul Muslim you can find this inshallah under the section dua for traveling. Now rituals, if a woman is in the state of menstruation or postnatal bleeding during Hajj, she will do everything as normal except the tawaf. The tawaf, she will delay it until she becomes pure. But everything else she can do. She can even do the sa'i, according to many scholars. Right? But she can't do tawaf. Is that clear? Yes or no? Alright? Okay. So again, as I said, anyone who's in that state, please speak to me so that I can, or get your husbands to speak to me so that I can give you direct advice specific to your situation depending on when it is. Okay, Umrah. Here's a summary of Umrah. Number 1, Ihram. Number 2, Tawaf. Number 3, Sa'i between Safa and Marwa. Number 4, shaving or trimming your hair. Okay? Yes. Okay. You arrive at the miqat. This is what you would normally do. Okay, normally you would go to the miqat and you will have a ghusl and you do all these things. I doubt very much the British Airways and Turkish Airlines have showers for you to do that. So have a shower at home, you know, trim your nails, trim your moustaches and what have you before you get into the state of ihram. You can apply perfume on your body, men only, not women. The Prophet ﷺ cursed the woman who wears perfume in public. Alright? It's a curse from the Prophet ﷺ. So bear that in mind. Men only, you can wear perfume only on your body, not on your clothes of ihram. So on your body, you can put on perfume, and then after that, once you get into the state of ihram, you're no longer allowed to wear perfume. But if the scent remains, that's fine, of course. The men will put on ihram garments. After the salah, Brother Sheikh Faqib, he will actually demonstrate how to wear an ihram, inshallah, practically. So we'll leave this for when he does that. Now once you've got into the state of ihram, you make the intention and you say Labbaik Allahumma Umrah. Say that. Sisters? Okay, when do you do this? Classic package, when's the first time you're doing this? On the plane going to Jeddah. Alright. Deluxe package, Medina first package, when are you going to be doing this? Dhul Hulayfa, alright, on the way back. And this is a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Imagine you'll be in the very same spot that the Prophet ﷺ put ihram on. Isn't that amazing? Okay, classic package, when's the second time you're going to do this? On the way also at Dhul Hulayfa, exactly. Alright. From this point on, you are in a state of ihram. Yes. Make sure you read your Hajj guides, the booklets, to tell you what you're not allowed to do during the state of ihram. Okay? Then you do the talbiyah. Let's do it together now because we're not going to be doing it together there, inshallah, once you do it individually. Okay? Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. Alright, you have to say this loudly. You have to say this loudly. This is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. You put all your energy into this. And then inshallah you'll find that you won't be putting your energy into complaining about the delays of the traffic and all of that. Right? But on a serious note, this talbiyah should be done with a lot of energy. And you do this all the way up until you see the Kaaba. So from your home, from the plane, when you get into a state of ihram, all the way, when you get to Makkah, you get to Aziziyah, you get to a million other stop points, Jeddah, all of this. When you get to the Kaaba, when you see the Kaaba, you open your eyes, you see the Kaaba, that's when you stop. Is that clear? Alright. Make talbiyah especially when going up and when going down. Like sometimes you forget or you get tired, but just when you're going up and when you're going down, always do that. When you're joining a party of people, when some people come, start doing the talbiyah. When you are, after every salah, do the talbiyah. Alright, this is called the talbiyah. In the morning, in the evening, do the talbiyah. Yes. Talbiyah should be recited aloud. Making talbiyah in a low voice is against the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said, Jibreel came to me and asked me to tell my companions to raise their voices with ihlal, which is the talbiyah. Is that clear? So how are you going to say it? Let's take two now. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Inna al-hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. SubhanAllah, sometimes we got into such a spirit in some of the time. This really gets you into the spirit of Hajj. And you just feel like crying seeing this. As I said, the people of Makkah, as soon as they see this, they can't, that burning fire desire to do Hajj suddenly comes into them when they see the Hujjaj doing it. In the coaches, sometimes you have the brothers, the young brothers at the front, or some young brothers at the back, other brothers, dotted around. And what you'll find is that sometimes they have competitions. The back guys, versus the front guys. Who can do the loudest talbiyah? And subhanAllah, it's an absolutely amazing experience. It drives you mad as well because the sound, but you're going to love it. Go on. Talbiyah is sunnah, but some scholars say it is wajib. So to be on the safe side, let's make sure our Hajj is correct. Let's do it loudly. It's also sunnah for sisters to take a shower before ihram, obviously at home. Yes, a woman who is in her menstruation or postnatal bleeding, she should also take a shower and she should also assume ihram. Is that clear? Every year we get sisters passing the miqat because they didn't listen to this instruction. Even if you are menstruating or in the state of postnatal bleeding, you still have to get into a state of ihram. But do you pray 2 rakahs, yes or no? No, you don't, because you're in a state of menstruation. Do you do the tawaf? No. Do you do everything else? Yes. Alright, so please brothers, make sure that you have told your families as well, and sisters, please bear that in mind. Okay, majority of scholars say that talbiyah should be made in a low voice for women only. However, the stronger view is because Aisha radiallahu anha, she used to make it really loudly, the talbiyah. The stronger view is that even women should make it loudly, as long as there's no fear of temptation. Okay, let's go over the restrictions of ihram immediately after salah, inshallah. Okay, so the restrictions on the state of ihram. So when you're in a state of ihram, there are certain restrictions. There are certain things you cannot do. Remember, the state of ihram is different to the clothes of ihram. When you're in the state of ihram, there are certain things that you can't do. Number one, men cannot wear any clothes. Men cannot wear any clothes such as a shirt, turban, hooded cloak, trousers, underwear, etc., shoes, socks, and what have you. Women can wear their normal clothes, but without wearing a separate niqab on their faces or gloves on their hands. These are the only main restrictions for women. They can't wear a separate niqab and they can't wear gloves. Men, on the other hand, there's a whole list of stuff they can't wear. Women may, however, bring their headscarves over their faces when in the company of men. As Aisha radiallahu anha, she used to pull down her headscarf over her face when there were riders going by. In other words, when the men were going by. What is forbidden to wear during the state of ihram is not stitched materials in themselves, because a lot of books mention this. But what is forbidden are those garments that are made to fit the limbs and are usually worn by people in a normal state, such as shirts, trousers, t-shirts, and so on and so forth. To make it simple, many scholars say just wear 2 pieces of cloth. Alright, that's why we do that. You should not wear gloves, although there's no harm in wrapping the hands in cloth. So not separate gloves. A man cannot cover his head with something that touches his head, but you can use an umbrella, you can sit in a, you can wear shades, you can wear a watch, you can wear these lanyards, there's lots of things you can do. Fragrance. You should not perfume yourself, your clothing, your food or drink after entering ihram. You should also abstain from cleansing yourself with scented soap. So one of the things that normally you can get is unscented soap. Like Simple, they have an unscented, a pack of goods, shower gel and what have you. Soap, yes. Yeah, that's fine, as long as it's not scented. Antibacterial gel is fine. There's no harm in what remains of the effect of perfume on your body, for men only, not for women, used prior to ihram. So any perfume you put on before you got in the state of ihram, the effect of that, if it remains, that's fine. But you can't put on new perfume, yeah? Another thing you can't do, of course, is sexual intercourse during the state of ihram and anything that leads to it. Kissing, touching, talking about sexual intercourse or related matters. All of these one cannot do in the state of ihram. This all comes under rafath, which we said. Cleaning. When you clean, you can't remove any hair from any part of your body, according to the majority of scholars. You definitely cannot remove any hair from your head. Also, you shouldn't clip your nails, according to the majority of scholars. You shouldn't get married during ihram, so anyone who's intending to do that in Makkah, get that out of your head. You can't get married in the state of ihram, you can't make proposals for yourself, and you cannot make proposals to somebody else either in the state of ihram. You can't hunt. Now, we're not talking about marriage, we've moved on. You can't hunt. You should not hunt or assist someone in hunting, and you should not kill animals except those that are harmful, or those who would attack people. Sisters, that does not include your husbands. Okay, so no hunting, no killing. You can kill snakes, rats, mice, scorpions, cockroaches, harmful ants, but not normal ants. Anything that harms you. And there is a genuine risk of harm. You can kill those animals. Lizards you can kill, snakes, just in case you happen to see one there. You can kill all these things. Otherwise, normal wild animals you can't kill. This is obviously not just in the haram area, we're also talking about in the state of ihram now, whether you're in the haram area or not, if you're in the state of ihram. I said there's nothing wrong in using an umbrella or using the roof of a car or tent for shade. There's also no harm carrying your luggage on top of your head. So you'll see lots of people doing that. Huge, those ihram containers over there, huge ihram containers. People will be carrying, women by the way, and men will be carrying these things. You'll see them walking in Hajj. It's an amazing experience. You can wear sandals that do not cover the ankles, rings, glasses, a watch worn on your wrist or hung from your neck. All of these are fine. Wearing a hearing aid or a speech aid, that's fine. It is permissible to use unscented cleaners, as we said, cleansers. You can also wash your ihram. You don't have to wear the same clothes for 5 days, and please do not wear the same clothes for my sake and for the sake of others for the whole period. All right. So if you get into the state of ihram, the longest period you'll be in ihram is for about from the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, the morning of the 8th, up until the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. So it's actually only 2 days. You know how long those 2 days feel like? A month. Alright, believe me, it feels like a month. When you come back, you will not believe that it's only been 2 days. Right? During those 2 days, you'll be in the state of ihram. 10th evening is when you generally come out of the state of minor ihram, which means you can wear any clothes, but there's still certain things you can't do. But we'll talk about that in Makkah, inshallah. Alright, what else? washing your ihram, you can wash them, you can change your ihram. Sisters, if you're in the presence of only your mahram men and other sisters, and no strange foreign men, ghair mahram, then you are allowed to take off your hijab. You don't have to wear the hijab. Some sisters, they think they have to stay in the state of, hijab. No, if they are only in the presence of their related men, their mahrams in other words, and just other sisters, then they can take off their hijab as well. And they can change their clothing as well. Okay.
Could I just ask on the footwear?
Yeah, I'll come to that inshallah. But as a rule of thumb, footwear for men is anything that is considered to be a sandal. Not something that is, like scholars, they try to give guidelines, but in reality the Prophet ﷺ said sandal. So anything that is considered to be a sandal, whether it has a strap or it doesn't have a strap and all this, it is actually going to be permissible inshallah for men. Women of course can wear any shoes. I will inshallah do a webinar, okay? They're going to arrange a webinar for me from Makkah inshallah live, so you guys can actually ask questions. Alright, so any questions you have, please write them down, email it to Brother Waqar and he will send them to me, and then we'll have a live webinar where you can ask questions inshallah when I go back to Makkah, probably next week inshallah. Okay, going to Masjid al-Haram. Just go back a slide a sec. One more forward. As you can see, there's not many people there. Okay, look at this just for a second, right? And just try and gauge the numbers. You're talking about millions of people. And by the way, all of these roads, okay, they're filled with people. So understand, organizing anything with this many people is a nightmare. What time will, lunch be, for example? Allahu Alam. It could be at 10 in the night, 10 at night. I mean, I'm okay, inshallah it won't be. But just if you get this in your mind that, you've got to get through crowds, and the whole of Makkah is like this with cars. So these are just the humans. You got cars, you got companies, everyone wants to serve their own group. And so everybody is, the logistics behind Hajj is just phenomenal. It's something I've never seen outside of Hajj. Alright, so people out, all around Makkah, there's cars, trucks, vans, everything trying to get stuff to you guys. Right, so, what time is food? Allahu Alam. What time are the coach coming? Allahu Alam. The guys can give you rough ideas, but I'm telling you, if they tell you it's definitely going to come within a minute, or 10 minutes, or an hour, or 3 hours, they're lying. Okay? So just remember this as a rule of thumb, inshallah. It's huge. It's packed, absolutely packed. Now, this is a very old picture. Here are a number of gates. Now, this hotel is actually the deluxe packages hotel in Makkah, and I think the classic package is somewhere just out there. Where would it be? Just a bit up there, I think. Just above the picture somewhere. Now, the point is, the point of this picture is this. Most of you will be coming out of Abdul Aziz gate. This is gate number 1. Which gate is it? Gate number 1. Now please have a meeting point. Alright? The amount of people that don't set a meeting point, and then when they get lost for 12 hours away from their husband or their wife, they come back and we say, why didn't you set a meeting point? They say, well, we were just about to set a meeting point, but we got split up. Right? So set a meeting point. Alright? And there is actually a clock here. Do not set that as the meeting point, because about another 1 million people have set that as their meeting point. Right? A good meeting point will be hotel room. Meeting back in the hotel room. Don't set outside gate 1 as your meeting point. Another 500,000 people are there trying to set the meeting point there, okay? And then someone will say, I'm the one with my hand up. You look around, there's about 100 people with their hands up. Alright? Please be practical. Get yourself a mobile phone. Please, brothers, don't be confused. Get your wives mobile phones. Alright? You need it. You do need it. Alright? Because even though you're together, you will need it. You'll need, you'll definitely need it. There's going to be parts where you're going to be split up, and then it just makes your life a lot easier. Make sure your phone, as a side point, make sure your phone is unlocked. All right, your phone is unlocked.
Camera phones are allowed?
Camera phones are allowed nowadays, yeah. Now, the other point I wanted to mention is, what do you think this is? All of this whole area. Huh? Buildings, exactly. All of this is buildings. Guess what? As of 2.5 or 3 years ago, all of these buildings have gone. Right? These buildings are no longer there. This is now all of this. We're talking about this whole section all the way up to there. Right? So half of the hotels of Makkah have been knocked down. Right? Let me repeat that. Half of the hotels around the Haram area in Makkah have been knocked down. That's why you see prices shoot up and what have you. But why is that important for you? It's because now this is actually becoming an extension of the Haram. So you can see this current extension is the most ambitious project ever. In that it's going to double the size of the Haram that we are looking at today. Alright, so this whole area, there is actually no hotels there. It's actually, they've started the construction already actually. And they're well into it. Okay? So as you can see, this is Marwa here. Safa's under there, Marwa's there. And this is, by the way, double the size now. It's up to there. Okay? But I'm going to complicate things now. What you should try and do when you're doing say is in the old original section where the Prophet ﷺ did it. Okay? But when we get to Makkah, inshallah, you can remind me about that, and then I'll give you a bit more detail about that. Or in the webinar. If someone can tell me in the webinar, then I'll mention that, inshallah. Here is the inside of the Haram. This Zamzam area is now closed. It's been closed since since 2004. Maqam Ibrahim is here. You have the door of the Kaaba here. The black stones immediately to the left of the door. This is the Hijr of Ismail. This used to be part of the Kaaba. We can talk about that inshallah in Makkah, about why it's not anymore. But now Zamzam, you can't go down to see the Zamzam well, but there's lots of little Zamzam containers, inshallah. Okay, keep on going. These are different corners. Keep going. This is Makkah when it was flooded, before the drainage system. Alright, people swimming doing tawaf. Imagine that. Radiant drops. Sorry, go on. Couldn't help that. Okay, arrive at Al-Masjid Al-Haram. Black stone, tawaf. Al-Tibar, pray 2 rak'ahs, Zamzam. This is your Tawaf al-Qudum. Okay? Then after that will be Sa'i. We've talked about this. Is a dua to enter the masjid. It's in your Hisn al-Muslim, any dua. Yeah. Okay, when you see the Kaaba, raise your hands if you want to. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma used to do this, make any dua you wish. There's no specific dua, so make any dua that you wish, in any language you wish, alright? And, use this time wisely, inshallah. You don't have to enter the masjid from a particular gate. The Prophet ﷺ entered from Bab al-Salam. However, and the books say this, so, the Haji who's never done Hajj before, he says, oh, I want to go through Bab al-Salam. But, there's 4 million other people that want to go through Bab al-Salam. So just bear this in mind. You have to, any gate is fine. You don't have to go overboard to try and mimic those things which the Prophet ﷺ didn't tell you to mimic. Is that clear? Mimic the things that Prophet ﷺ told us to mimic. That's important. Okay, another dua when you arrive in masjid. Okay, so how do we do the Umrah? Alright, there are a number of important points. Number one, you have to start with the black stone. Alright? The black stone, so you know, when you enter gate number 1, which is your gate, which is the one closest to your hotels for both of you, when you enter gate 1, if you keep going straight, you will hit the Yemeni corner. What will you hit? The Yemeni corner. You go one face around the Kaaba and that's the black stone. Alright? So only one, the next corner. So the corner that you're hitting is the Yemeni corner. Keep going around and you will hit what? The black stone. And go to the black stone, facing it, make takbir. Say Allahu Akbar. Or you can say Bismillahi, Allahu Akbar. What do you say? Okay, now, what you can do is kiss the black stone or touch the black stone with your hand and then kiss your hand. There are a number of different levels. The first level is kiss the black stone and touch it. Number 2, just touch it. Okay, and number 3, point to it. Which one do you think you'll be doing? Point to it, alright? Who's going to be fighting to get to kiss the black stone during Hajj? Brother Sultan. Okay, please, nobody. Alright, nobody from this group. If you want to go and kiss the black stone, please, come during Umrah when it's quiet and do it then. Do not try and do it now. I mean, try and do it for your, for the sake of yourselves. But then as soon as you see, the problem. This is the problem. You get this close to the black stone. Imagine this pillar here, or this pillar here, is the black stone. Right? You're so close to it. Right? You're so close to it. But you know how many people there are between you and it on all sides. It's just absolutely madness. And there's all blood and people fighting and pushing and shoving and it's very difficult to do during Hajj. So, try and avoid it. There's no point. Just do, this is also the sunnah. Bismillahi Allahu Akbar. You don't kiss your hand. You keep on going. Is that clear, brothers and sisters? Alright. Yeah. And you do that every circuit. Okay, at the beginning of every circuit. The Kaaba will be to your left. Why do we go around the Kaaba anti-clockwise? By the way, I just want to tell you a little story. It's a joke, by the way. There's a guy who's serving tea, alright? So he's serving tea clockwise. He's stirring the tea clockwise with the sugar. So the guy with him says, "Oh, don't do that, don't do that." He says, "Why?" He says, "Well, because, you do tawaf around the Kaaba anti-clockwise. So, stir your tea anti-clockwise." So then all of a sudden, the guy starts stirring his tea like this. He said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I've done tawaf, I'm doing sa'i now." Okay. Anyway, the question is, why are we doing tawaf anti-clockwise? Huh? Who can tell me? Fantastic. Best answer. Because that's how Allah told the Prophet ﷺ to do it, and that's how the Prophet ﷺ told us to do it. It's very simple. Right? Some people, they go out of their way to say our heart is on the left and it needs to be to the, all this kind of stuff. Look, leave that aside. The reason we do it is because Allah and His Messenger ﷺ commanded us to do it that way. Yeah. Now, as you're going around the Kaaba, okay, you're going anti-clockwise, what you must do is you touch the Yemeni corner if you are able to do it. Are you going to be able to do it? Unlikely. It's a little bit more likely than kissing the black stone. It's a lot more likely than kissing the black stone. But inshallah, some of you might be able to do it. If you can, then alhamdulillah. You can touch the Yemeni corner. You don't touch the other two corners. The Iraqi corner and the Shami corner. You don't touch those. You only touch the black stone. You don't touch the next one. You don't touch the next one. Then you touch the Yemeni corner. If you can't touch the black stone, then you point to it. If you can't touch the Yemeni corner, you do not point to it. Is that clear, brothers and sisters? Yeah, some people, they do this and they kiss it and all of that. No, this is not correct. Now, between the Yemeni corner and the black stone, which is the final face of the Kaaba, this is the only time you do a specific dua. Everywhere else, the other three faces, you do any dua you wish. Between the Yemeni corner and the black stone, you say, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Memorize this dua. This is one dua you have to memorize. Alright? So this is what you say between the Yemeni corner and the black stone, and you continually say it until you get to the black stone. The other three faces, do any dua you wish. So here we are. Black stone. Iraqi corner you don't touch. And you know that because this is the Hijr Ismail. And this is also called Khatib. And there's a Shami corner and there's a Yemeni corner. Where's gate 1? It's here. Alright? Gate 1 is here. Okay? Yes. Sorry, can you go back one slide again? So okay, so you touch or point to the black stone. You say Bismillah Allahu Akbar. You go around making any dua you want until you come to the Yemeni corner. If you can touch it, you can touch it and say Allahu Akbar. If you can't, then you don't say anything, you don't do anything. And from here to here you say رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. So are you going to be going like this, yes or no? Probably not. You're probably going to go like this. Okay? It's actually easier to do it further away from the Kaaba because there's less crowds. You don't need to say an intention when you do tawaf. Okay? You do that in your mind, in your heart. You should do wudu for tawaf. Okay? The huge majority of scholars said you must do wudu. So you should do wudu for tawaf, not sa'i. Not sa'i. And some scholars said otherwise, but we'll leave that for now. A menstruating woman does not make tawaf until she becomes pure. But she can do everything other than that, apart from tawaf and prayer. Any tawaf you do, an optional tawaf, when you come out of the state of ihram, you can do optional tawafs. They have to be 7. 7 circuits followed by 2 rakahs. Right? You don't do 3 circuits and 4 circuits. You do 7 circuits followed by 2 rakahs, and even optional tawafs. Yeah. What happens if you're doing tawaf and the salah starts? Which will happen. You'll probably get about 2 or 3 salahs, at least 2 salahs when you're doing tawaf and sa'i. You stop where you are, you pray, and then you restart from where you left off. You don't need to start from the beginning. If you lose your wudu in tawaf, you go, make wudu, come back, and you start off from where you left off. Is that clear? You don't need to start again. If you lose your wudu in sa'i, you can continue. Alright? Is that clear, brothers and sisters? The only act of ibadah that you need wudu for in Hajj is tawaf, and obviously the prayers and the other stuff that you're normally used to. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we talked about this inshallah. Yeah. There's no particular dhikr for tawaf, so you may read the Quran or say any dua or dhikr that you like. Write down your du'as from now. Okay, and at the top of it, it should be, may Allah grant the religious guide and accepted Hajj. Alright? So, write down your du'as from now, inshallah. Okay, make dua for yourselves, your family, for Jannah. Don't just make dua for this life. Make dua for the akhirah as well. Yeah. Don't make dua in a group. Alright, this is not the sunnah, this is against the sunnah, yet so many people do this. They make dua as a group. Right, this is not the sunnah, you must make your own dua. Okay, keep on going. After you've done tawaf, you've done 7 rounds, then you go behind Maqam Ibrahim and pray 2 rakahs. Will you end up praying behind Maqam Ibrahim? 4 million people also wants to pray behind Maqam Ibrahim. So where do you pray? Anywhere in the masjid. Alright, it's perfectly fine, you pray anywhere in the masjid, inside the masjid. Yeah. This is Maqam Ibrahim from the inside. I mean, mashallah, Ibrahim alayhi salam had huge feet. Alright? Alayhi salatu wassalam. Yeah. This is how Makkah is not going to be like, empty. After you pray, you go to Zamzam. There's lots of little containers. You take some water and you pour some on your head as well. And these are some of the Zamzam, modern Zamzam taps. And here are the ones that are commonly situated across the masjid. All of these are Zamzam inside the masjid. Okay, and then you go and do sa'i. Right? Sa'i, you start with Safa. You recite the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse 158. إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله فمن حج البيت أو اعتمر فلا جناح عليه أن يطوف بهما ومن تطوع خيرا فإن الله شاكر عليم. And then you make the dhikr and the du'as that you do at Safa. And then you walk to Marwa. And between the green lights, you will run. And then you get to Safa, to Marwa, and you do the same thing there as well. Right, so this is the dua that you recite only once at the beginning of your sa'i. Only once, this one. Then, you say, Abda'u bima bada Allahu bih. I begin with what Allah began with. And again, you say this only once. and you climb Safa. Do you think Safa looks like this now? It doesn't. Okay, so you won't actually see much of a mountain, it's very small. Just as a side point, I'd actually recommend everybody to do it on the first floor, okay, or the roof, because it's very crowded on the ground floor. All right, it's very crowded in the ground floor. Yeah. And then you say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. By the way, this part you do at Safa and Marwa, at Safa and Marwa, at Safa and Marwa, at Safa and Marwa. Okay, so you do that 7 times. So you end up at Marwa on the other end. Okay, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah wahdah, la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shayin qadir. La ilaha illallah wahdah, anjaza wa'ada wa nasara abda wa hazama al-ahzaba wahdah. Then you make your own dua in any language you wish. Oh Allah, make me pass my exams. Oh Allah, grant me Jannah. Oh Allah, and so on and so forth. Then you recite this again. Then you make your own dua. Then you recite this again. Is that clear? So how many times do you recite this? 3 times at each point. Yeah? At each point. And in between those 3 times, you do your own dua. Is that clear? So at Safa, let me recap. At Safa, you say the ayah of the Quran. Then you say, Abda'u bima bada Allahu bih. I begin with that which Allah began with. Then you make this dua. Then you make your own dua. Then you make this dua. Then you make your own dua. Then you make this dua. 3 times this dua, 2 times your own dua in between. Is that clear, brothers and sisters? Alright, and you do this part at Marwa as well. You do it again at Safa, again at Marwa, again at Safa, again at Marwa, again at Safa, again at Marwa. So you will actually do this 8 times because you're going between them 7 times. Is that clear? Yes or no? Alright. Okay, so we've talked about this. You will see the signpost. So up there are green lights. On the roof there are green lights. When you see a whole load of tube lights which are green, the men start running. And some scholars say women as well. But the men start running. When you see another set of green lights, you stop running. Okay, this is where Hajar alayhi salam was running, and that's why we follow that sunnah, and the Prophet ﷺ told us to do that. The rest of it, you just make your own dua. And even between, while you're running, you make your own dua. Between Safa and Marwa, all the way, you make your own du'as. You can read Quran as well, but make your own dua. That is a sunnah. And you don't raise your hands, you just walk. The only time you raise your hands is at Safa and at Marwa, there are specific du'as. Between them, you do your own dua. Is that clear, brothers and sisters? Yes or no? Okay. Again, we'll have a webinar catch up on this inshallah again. Recap. And we've talked about this, yes. Then you go to the barbers. Now, because this is Umrah, you should trim your hair. Don't shave your hair, because it's better to shave your hair, brothers only. It's better to shave your hair when you're actually doing the Hajj shaving. Is that clear? So you can actually trim twice. For the classic package, you're going to end up doing it 3 times. So twice you trim, and then the final one, you do the shave, if you wish. Okay? Yeah. And then you're outside of the state of Ihram, and that is Umrah. Now you can realize why Umrah is the easiest part of Hajj. And that's why I've spent all this time only talking about Umrah. When we get to Makkah, in pieces, I will go through each part of the Hajj, inshaAllah, with you. Insha'Allah ta'ala. Okay? While in Makkah, use your time wisely. It's very precious. Don't do shopping and what have you. Use that time. Good deeds are multiplied. And so on and so forth. Yeah. If you pray one prayer in Masjid al-Haram, it's equivalent to 100,000 times prayer. That's 55 years of prayers. 55 years of prayers. Of 5 times of daily prayer. For just one salah. Okay? And so make lots of optional tawaf if you can. Of course, it's very tough. Please rest before Hajj. So many people go there, they get all excited, they do like a couple of umrahs a day. I'm not joking. There are people out there that do 1 or 2 umrahs a day. And don't do that. Just rest, because your main purpose is Hajj. Hajj requires a lot of energy. Relax before Hajj, chill, and then you can hopefully concentrate, give all your energy to Hajj, inshallah. Give charity, Some scholars such as Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu said if you give 1 riyal in charity, well he didn't say riyal, but if you give 1 dirham or dinar in charity, you get 100,000 reward in Makkah, only in Makkah. If you fast 1 day, then you get 100,000 fast reward, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Salatul Jama'ah, yes. Crowded streets of Makkah, and this is called Shari Mansour. Ibrahim Khalil. This is often packed, and all the packs around, all the roads around them are packed. This is, all of these hotels have been vanished, have been knocked down. Yeah. Hijr Ismail. This part used to be from the Kaaba. We'll talk about that inshallah when we're in Makkah or on the webinar. 10 feet of it, yeah. Yeah. You can pray inside there. It's equivalent to praying inside the Kaaba. Jazakallahu khairan.